and immersion against the
Man,
setting of the game. This is my first video, so I hope.
wow, this dude is super cool. I want to see what other videos he made. 2023 July. There has to be more, right? There has to be more, right? I love rhythm games. I love Roblox. What if we combine the two? Well, we get these Roblox rhythm games. Now, like any original YouTuber from 2020, I'm going to rank these games from a scale of 1 to 10 because I need to express my opinion to someone and talk about how more people should play these games. But first, what counts as a rhythm game? Well, we would be here all day if we counted music platformers or music related games, so I have 3 criteria in order to count a Roblox rhythm game. 1. It needs to have at least 20 players a day, so it has to be relevant and needs to have a small community. Number 2. It still gets recent updates, recent meaning like a year ago. And number 3. It has to have some sort of main focus on the genre of rhythm, so games like Just Shapes and Beats, which mainly has the genre of bullet hell, wouldn't be considered as a rhythm game, even if it has some elements of rhythm. I'm also rating these games based on how good it is by itself, so no external factors such as the creator's dark past history or the price of the game, with 3 key factors. Number 1, how fun the game is. The game can range from boring and stale to fun. Number 2, how fair the game is. If the game respects the player or not for existing. Number 3, how beginner friendly the game is. If newer players can have a good experience in the game they play.
I'm going to lick ya.
Robeats, made in March of 2017, is your standard 4-key rhythm game, and it's the most well known due to its large community, being one of the first rhythm games on Roblox to gain mass popularity. Robeats has songs from many different artists, as with most other rhythm games. The only negatives that most people say when it comes to Robeats is a thing called gears. You can equip gears to help you score more points. To get these gears, you need to use in-game currency, which makes you heavily grind for items, effectively making this game pay to win. Sure, you can still be free to play in Robeats, but expect to be treated worse because you didn't pay Big Daddy Robeats money. Now, they did release casual and competitive mode, which is great as gears can't be abused anymore, but I feel like these names can be confusing to the average new player, so let's play a game. Which one of these 2 modes allows gears and which one doesn't? Got that? Okay, now reverse it. In my opinion, I would say that this game isn't beginner friendly if you play multiplayer, and I say that because playing single player Robeats feels and acts perfectly fine. It does what it needs to do and it shows what a rhythm game on Roblox could be. If you want to improve like me, I would suggest playing single player on casual mode. This way gears can't be used and you can actually improve your score without anyone else bothering you. So, as a rhythm game in general, Robeats is perfectly fine, but I wouldn't recommend to play this game if you ever want to compete against others, as you either have to face pay-to-win players or a weirdly polarizing bag from new beginners to skilled veterans. No in between. Rosu Mania, made in March of 2022, is essentially the Roblox version of Osu Mania. Similar to Robeats, it's also a 4-key rhythm game, but it feels less corporate because of the lack of GUI elements or microtransactions everywhere. In terms of gameplay, it's also great, but in terms of beginner friendliness, I would stay away from this game if you're just fresh out of the bucket. Otherwise, I would definitely support playing this game if you're either an average player or a god. It also has ghost tapping, unlike Robeats, which is a setting that you can turn on to freely press your keys without getting punished. There's a reason why this section is short, as Roastumania is a good middle ground for player improvement and fairness to the player, being the epitome of good Roblox rhythm games. Rhythm Shack, made in October 2016 by Dummies, is an auto-generated rhythm game based on games like Rock Band or Guitar Hero. Personally, having a robot to auto-generate note patterns in a regular 4-key rhythm game doesn't sit right with me. Robots don't know how to chart fun patterns for the player, unlike real people who do know how to chart. Shocker, I know. Now, this game is meant for guitar controls, but let's be honest here. Not everyone who plays Roblox will invest in something as expensive as a guitar controller. So for beginners experience on keyboard or on mobile, I would highly recommend to stay away from this game due to its inconsistent charting, setting a bad example on how rhythm games on Roblox can be fun. I personally don't own a guitar controller, nor am I interested in guitar-like rhythm games, so please tell me if this game can actually be good with guitar controls. So leave a comment, prove me wrong that this game isn't as bad as they made it out to be.
Oh, we're so sorry to hear about your brother that passed away. He gets my big bones.
Silent Space, made in December of 2018, is an aim-based rhythm game where you use your cursor to hit notes. No clicking required. You have a 3x3 grid where notes fly and use your cursor to hit these notes. Basically regular rosu, but without clicking and doubling down on aim. This game feels more like an aim trainer sometimes than a real rhythm game, but overall the gameplay is enjoyable and I can see someone locking in with the song in the background. I also enjoy the copyright warnings the developers put into the game. It's such a simple thing to do, showing that devs actually care about the game and its players, along with content creators and people who just simply want to put their scores on YouTube. Personally, this game isn't for me, even though I play FPS games, but if I am bored of the standard rhythm game genre, then this game would be a great replacement. I would recommend this to new players as both a rhythm game and an aim trainer, especially if you only want to focus on aiming in games like Osu.
Put the mango down!
This is for my winter arc!
Put the mango down!
This is for my winter arc!
Put the mango down!
This is for my winter arc!
Put the mango down!
This is for my winter arc!
Rusher, made by the group Chris, is a game that you can play on Roblox. This game is inspired by 9 different rhythm games or even more, and I only played 4 of these games in my life. Let me rephrase this game a different way. Rusher is a crazy, fun, action-packed rhythm game made in September of 2024 that throws the standard quo of rhythm games out of the window, filled with multiple different gimmicks that can overlap with each other. Now, as an actual game, if you want to be competitive, good luck on memorizing the patterns in doing so, because the cues of these gimmicks are pretty bad. Some of these gimmicks are straight up useless, as it doesn't change the gameplay / input of the game. Sometimes the level doesn't even tell you when the gimmick usually happens until it's too late. Hell, sometimes the gimmick can be too hard to sight read in 2 seconds. There are so many issues, yet I love this game because this game can be really fun sometimes. Almost as if it's like addictive pain. The actual gimmicks in the game are great, but sometimes are choreographed badly. One example where this doesn't happen is in the level Iris, in which a 4-tick mechanic is actually well polished due to one thing: the distinct sound cue. Something that one of the inspired games, Rhythm Doctor, excels well in with its gimmicks. Having a distinct sound cue amongst the music can send PTSD to the player about the upcoming mechanic. One example, which a gimmick is poorly choreographed, is the level Step It. The gimmick here is that notes can bounce, making you have to press it again. But this is poorly communicated with which notes bounce, as it is inconsistent. On one hand, we can clearly see that notes already just bounce without any warning, but on the other hand, we see flickering, meaning that it will turn into a bouncing note. I like this idea of bouncing notes, but it has a poor execution due to its inconsistency, so I would suggest changing the note entirely, similar to the song SURREAL, where a 5/4 measure beat is clearly stated. Or change the original note to this new bouncing note during the flickering transition. Wait, this sounds like Jump Dash now. The reason why I'm even talking about this game for this long is because this is a relatively new and recent rhythm game that isn't a 4-key. I like its ideas and the conglomerate mess that it is. It just needs some changes for readability, and it's perfectly okay to have issues around any game, especially to a small team. Will I recommend it to new players? It's such a chaotic and different game that it's up for you to decide if the game is worth your time, but I highly recommend it for everyone. And that's the video. I hope you enjoyed the games I reviewed today, some great and some others not so great. I genuinely think that there's potential in Roblox rhythm games. Wait, why is the video not over? Oh no, don't tell me those count as well. So you know how I said that Rusher changed the genre for Roblox rhythm games? Well, there's a reason why, and that's because of people making Roblox rhythm games based off of another game. Friday Night Funkin'. To make this brief, FNF is a rhythm game made by a couple of indie developers around December of 2020, and when it hit Roblox, it would spread like a plague. So, how am I gonna rate these games? I mean, they're practically the same game because, not to reference anything drastic, but I played these games before! Let me just rewrite the script. Okay. Number 1, content. The amount of things implemented in the game. Stuff like mod charts, skins, settings, actual mods, etc. Number 2, grind. The amount of grinding it takes to get a customizable item. And number 3, fun. The amount of enjoyment I got from playing the game. Yes, I know that technically any other rhythm game can also fall into the criteria, but these games are too similar, okay? I have to differentiate them somehow and tell you if they're worth your time or not.
Oh no, are you ever going to speak on the alleged video that leaked of you stealing a truckload of helium?
I had nothing to do with the helium that was stolen.
Basically, FNF Remix, made in March of 2021, is the more updated and current version of the original Basically FNF. Made by the group Bitworks, BFNFR has an average amount of mod content, but they don't really have any mod charts. Grinding in BFNFR is kinda bad, getting around 200 to 400 points per song, with most items in the store costing around 2,000 to 5,000 points. Meaning, you can get one item after playing 10 songs, and these songs can heavily stack up in time. Quality of life settings in BFNFR is alright, having most of the features you would need in a standard rhythm game, but there could have been more. It's an alright game, but I wouldn't recommend the game unless they added more content and decreased the grind. It's also boring without having any mod charts. Sorry.
Hey, are you trying to sleep? Yes. Now shut up. Oh. Remember that embarrassing thing you said 3 years ago? Anyway, good night.
Funky Friday is probably the game you heard the most about, or you even played even if you weren't in the RoFNF community at the time. Having 1.8 billion visits during the script, Funky Friday was made in February of 2021 by Light Interactive. This game entirely defined the RoFNF genre as a whole. Surprisingly, the content isn't massive, with most of its content being on playable animations and settings rather than mod songs, emotes, microphones, or speakers. Although they did come up with the idea of having 2v2 multiplayer battles and mod charts within their games. FF is somewhat grindy as you don't have a ton of points compared to how much points it costs to buy something, but honestly it's fair. FF is also pretty fun with mod charts and with other people in general. I would still recommend playing this game today, as there are good songs on FF.
Massive.
Friday Night Bloxxin, made in September of 2021, was recently brought back alive from the FNB fan club out of depths of hell from the final update. It currently has a ton of content and mods right now, as well as settings and mod charts. I personally enjoyed FNB because of the mod charts as well as the customizability. I wouldn't say it's all too grindy, and even if it is, they still have tons of songs that are fun to play. I personally wouldn't have really cared about the game if it was left in the dust, as long as it was open for people to play. But we live in an alternative reality where this isn't true, and it's currently being worked on. Definitely a game to check out, which I highly recommend. It polishes what FF lacked.
Fire in the hole!
Why am I covering this? Why is this game even still alive? It hasn't gotten an update in a year and people are still playing it? Fine, I'll review this one. Monday Morning Misery, made in August of 2021, is if you literally combine Friday Night Funkin' with this genre of role FNF games. I honestly think that this could have been a great game if it was still worked on, as you get animations, stages, and icons all for free without the hassle of grinding. I wouldn't really say that MMM is fun with its selection of songs. There are mod charts, but it's quite small. I wouldn't recommend playing it due to its inactivity currently. Maybe if they updated it so it has more songs and mod charts. But for now, I don't recommend playing Monday Morning Misery. FunkyBeats, originally made in March of 2021 and turned into a remix by Strifeful on January 1st of 2024, is a combination of Robeats and the mod songs for FNF. Instead of playing one character, you play both, similar to a Robeats chart. The grind in this game is around the same as the FNFR, and I wouldn't consider it as enjoyable as Robeats or FNF. There is an average amount of content in this game, with mods and settings as well, and a tutorial teaching the player how to play. Overall, it's Robeats with the single player I mentioned before, but with FNF songs. I would only recommend playing this game to build your stamina for your fingers while listening to FNF music, but personally the game isn't for me, and I wouldn't recommend playing it. Yippee! Friday Night Partying, made in January 2023, uses the Yet Another Funkin' Night engine, Yaffin engine for short. Their owner had a controversy that it can't go over now due to time, but developers gave out the engine for other creators to use. Some of these games that use the Yaffin engine are Project Funk Night, Starlight Funk, and this game, Friday Night Partying. FNP has tons of content that is completely free without the need to grind because of how the Yaffin engine works. It also contains endless amounts of maps, mod charts, and animations, making the game extremely enjoyable and fun. It is a game I would recommend to any player.
I like my cheese drippy, bruh.
I was originally going to make a video on this game alone, but eventually I combined it with this whole mess of a video. Rat, or Rappability Test, made in May of 2022 by Semicola Games, is probably one of the most content-filled and polished games I have ever seen. They have their own FNF mod with the Roblox engine that contains original songs and covers of already existing songs of mods. Rat is probably one of the most enjoyable experiences due to its smooth engine as well as the addition of mod charts. Its content and animations is rough, but they have plenty of icons and settings for customization. To get these dances or icons, you will need to gamble your money away, which is the only thing that's kinda grindy. At least it's somewhat fair as you get daily missions for money to use to gamble, but overall, it's not as grindy as other games to get something. The difference between Rat and other role FNF games is that instead of purchasing a guaranteed icon, you roll 3 random icons that could be duplicates, and for dances, you get 3 random cards to craft into animations. Rat also has trading with item rarities as well as an implementation of a battle pass that you can buy with Robux. So it's basically Fortnite. It's fine, honestly. The positives do outweigh the negatives, as there are a ton of songs and official community Rat charts. Similar to Robeats, having user-generated content is great for a thriving community, especially if you have a small team of developers like Rat. I personally think this is a great thriving community with a bucket load of content, mod charts, and original songs, with endless fun, leading me to recommend you to play Rat. Project Afternight, or PAFN, made in April of 2023 by Dawn Dreamer Studios, is probably the first role FNF game that I would recommend to anyone. There's no paywall restricting any content, meaning that everything you can get in PAFN is free. This makes grinding way easier, as you only need to complete the song set on the bottom right in order to unlock what you want. It also has multiple quality of life improvements and settings in a very organized manner. The content on PAFN is plenty with endless mods, mod charts, and can make the game actually fun. Not having to grind multiple songs and boredom for an animation, but instead enjoying the game and song after only playing that song once. I honestly had lots of fun playing this game because it has a charm of recreating the actual mods and setting in a Roblox-like style. But another thing that I really enjoyed was the block strap settings for PAFN. If you didn't know, block strap is an application that provides multiple quality of life updates for Roblox, and by importing the Minn's block strap fork, you can have your own application window move and interact with your computer in certain songs. It's honestly mind-blowing that you can even do this on a platform like Roblox. Overall, PAFN is probably the best introduction of RoFNF games, giving you countless fun with no grind and actually lets you enjoy the art and music of the mod. I'm not too sure if you realize it already, but I keep repeating myself because that's how limiting in creativity RoFNF games can have. But with the last two games, Rat and Project Afternight, those can change and redefine the entirety of what a RoFNF game is. For this last part, I'm going to talk about some honorable mentions of some dead Roblox rhythm games.
What the Sigma?
Sound VOLBLOX 4, made in December of 2018, is inspired by the arcade game Sound Voltex. It's one of the more polished games of history on Roblox ever played, even though I'm not good at it. It's fun, has tons of songs, and you can battle other players to see who earns the most points. I don't have anything else to say about this game, it's just a copy of Sound Voltex. A dead game, but still fun. Oh, and it has mines as well. 10 out of 10 game. Great. Skullbeat is a 4-key PvP rhythm game made in July of 2022 where you fight against 4 other players. There's 3 rounds each game. You can buy power-ups to benefit you or hurt other players with coins you earn each round. You can't use power-ups willingly during each match as you have to press all of the green star notes in order to successfully power up. At the end of each round, the person with the lowest score gets eliminated, with the third round determining who's first, second, and third. There's multiple different power-ups and it's actually pretty fun, even against the bots. When you level up, you can earn rewards and money to buy new power-ups to add to your selection during your buying round. You can also earn a teacher who each has a separate ability to help you survive more. Whether you get more gold or you get a free revive, it's well thought out and it's somewhat balanced. I highly recommend this game for new or old players as some of these power-ups can mess you up horribly and it's fun to compete using wacky power-ups that can lead to actual chaos. Rhythm Master, made in August of 2015, is a console-like rhythm game that uses your keyboard to play anime background music. Some of these songs don't exist anymore due to Roblox's audio privacy incident in 2020. This game hasn't seen the light of day for 7 years and it'll still probably be dead. It's a good game made for 2015, where the most popular thing was prison life. But be aware that some of these anime intro songs can take a very long time to finish. Yeah, I never knew an official collaboration with Roblox would lead me to put Elton John into my Roblox rhythm game video. It's still really getting updates in 2025. It was first made in October of 2022 for some perspective. You get to play short snippets of Elton John songs whilst playing in a 4-key forced ASDF keybind. Will I recommend it to anyone? If you're that bored, then sure, it's a good way to waste a couple of minutes of your boring life if you want to. Why did I even put this up here? So, what did we cover today? Firstly, Roblox rhythm games need to be more open for new beginners. Not only to improve the reputation of Roblox rhythm games and communities, but also to prove Roblox as a gaming platform in general. What makes a player hooked on a rhythm game? It has to be fun, satisfying, and doesn't feel too unfair for the player. a chart that is fun for a beginner to play and get hooked on as seen with Rusher, along with great execution of fairness as seen with Soundspace or rosu mania. Secondly, the role FNF genre is starting to get boring and repetitive. These games need to find an identity for themselves that they can place onto people. The best example of this is Rat, with its own custom songs, community charts, and daily missions. Project Afternight is also going through a similar route, disregarding the old shop system so that it requires less grinding to do and would further your enjoyment of the game. It has basically been 5 years since FNF came out, and I fear that people are starting to get tired of rhythm games as a whole, leaving the broader Roblox rhythm game genre dead. We already saw FNB, MMM, and FF disappear for a while, and only 2 of them came back. Finally, we saw the aftermath of what a dead Roblox rhythm game looks like, an empty shell of a husk that people used to go inside to play and have fun. No one's around anymore to see these hidden gems of Roblox rhythm games. Okay, well, except Elton John's weird collab thing with Roblox, that's something else. But in general, seeing these actually fun games rot in the depths of Roblox is quite saddening, especially with Roblox as a whole advertising the worst games in their Discover page. My name is JellsRingo, and thank you for coming to my bed talk. Goodbye.